So what, there were 20 buskers here tonight. Last night, we invited all the agri-food people. We had 3 people and 6 staff. Okay? So do the numbers on that. If we were charging them to come through the door to set all this up and have people in, maybe it's what we're offering, but tonight there's a hockey game and you guys all still chose to come. But, so tonight there were what, 6 of 75 artists who chose to, 5, okay, of 75 who chose to come. So that's the reality in doing public policy. Because the rubber has hit the road, and because you guys know there's an issue, you're here. Once, if all of this stuff was put in place and everybody was happy and we were having a busker meeting, how many people would we get out? You know, would you be here? You know, that's the issue. So I think you have to understand part of our rationale on this and why we said come tonight, because we know that this has been an issue. We want to get the stuff on the road. We want to get you down there. We want you to know the vendors. We want them to know you. We want the customers to know you. All that stuff so you can be part of the community and start to represent your own issues. Because it wasn't that many years ago that the farmers were a bunch of French-speaking folks that came from outside of Ottawa who didn't even have a vote on council because they were outside of the city of Ottawa. And the market decisions were made basically by the unilingual English business community. Okay? All of that has changed. After the bylaw went out, we did a future search. Now all the committees are open to everybody, and that's the kind of inclusive place it is. Is that a lot more complicated than having it dictated? We don't dictate a staff. We have to listen. But the reality is we tried to balance based on what we heard from individual persons. So if I had to sit down as part of a consultation, you have to understand we're controlling 300 different stands with all these interests. But if I had to sit down with each one of you as part of trying to come up with a policy, what might it have looked at? And like, you guys have a separate interest, they have a separate interest, different times, different hours. It's only when we've now got this structure that we can start to look at that and say, what would we change? And then when we bring everyone together and say, okay, here are the issues, how many people think that makes sense? And we have to do what's best for the whole group. So we're not going to create a market for circus performers. We're not going to create a market for balloon folks. We're not going to create a market for henna. We're not going to create a market for, you know, and people
create the whole atmosphere.
Exactly, and the violinists and stuff were all saying, well, I can't stand there with my violin and wait for an hour at a spot, because the old line was you had 3 of you wait in a row. My instruments are worth too much money to stand and have them destroyed by the sun. So, you know, you either store my instrument and bring it out to me after I've waited in line, and, you know, what else can we do for you? Can I tune your stuff? Can I care, you know? So, gentlemen, go ahead and tell us about Circle.
Yeah, so, yeah. So you're talking about the big shows. We are one of those. We performed at the Busker festivals across Canada. So we usually perform here, as you probably know. You were talking about the issues like people getting hit by cars and stuff. I speak for only like me and Paul. There are bad like circle shows, just like there are, I'm sure, bad musicians like that aren't that good. What we always tried to do, and what we always did, is make a big concern of keeping people on. Like, of the 5 years that we've been doing shows there, not once has there been, like that I've seen, there might have been, but I've never seen an accident on the streets at all. We've always had a good relationship with the Grand. They let us change in their washrooms. The manager comes out and is always good friends. Yeah, and like they perform there too, and we always got along. It was always, you know, if they do an hour, we do an hour. There was never any fight with everybody else. And you know, we had amplification, but it was